Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Booth. In September at the Foto-Kina, Samsung presented his new flagship, the mirrorless camera NX1. So it took a while until the camera reached the market, but now here it is, the Samsung NX1. So the Samsung NX1 is the flagship of the Samsung series, is one to go in the professional area of photography, and so there are lots of functions in the camera which are very professional and which go in the right direction. First of all, we have a touch screen, we have a turnable monitor, we have fast autofocus, fast serial functions, we have 4K video, so there are a lot of functions in the camera which going in the right direction. And we have an APS-C sensor with 28 megapixel, so that's the highest resolution actually we have in the APS-C market compared to the other APS-C cameras in the market, the mirrorless or the DSLR cameras. We go up to 24 megapixels, so 28 is the highest value we actually have in the APS-C market. I want to show you the most important functions and features of the NX1. First of all, I said it before, it's a mirrorless camera with interchangeable lenses, and we have the 28 megapixel APS-C sensor. Nominal it has 30 megapixel, but for the picture they use 28 megapixel. The camera but the best choice with the camera to work is the 16 to 50 millimeter OIS lens with the aperture of 2.0 to 2.8. I tried this lens. I don't have the camera I don't have the camera very long, only one day, but I did some test pictures and did my test chart. And it's very amazing which picture quality comes out of this lens. So it's a real fantastic lens. It's a lens with an optical image stabilizer, and I like this one very much. You can see the picture quality by yourself on my Flickr account. You will see there the test pictures in a few days and some more pictures, so you can compare them with other cameras. Okay. As I said before, we have the turnable monitor here on the back side, and you can move the monitor in the position like this, and you can turn it downwards, so you have the option to work from on top of the camera. You can hold the camera close to the surface and look from the top into the monitor, and also you can work over your head and still control the picture in the monitor. When we have a look at the monitor is real clear, sharp and crisp picture. It's an OLED monitor, a Super AMOLED OLED monitor, and it gives you a fantastic picture. I've never seen a high quality picture like this on a camera, and it's a touch screen, so you can work with the touchscreen. You can change the different settings of the camera with the touchscreen. You can set the autofocus point with your fingertip, and the touchscreen works real good and works real fantastic. I like this one very much, and I think that's a real good step in the right direction, because you can make the most settings of the camera just by working on the touchscreen. Here we have a quick menu where you can make the most important setting, like ISO setting or aperture correction or something like this. And you have a lot of settings here in this quick menu, and you can work with your fingertip and change the most important settings of the camera. Coming to the viewfinder, electronic viewfinder, for sure it's a mirrorless camera, so it has to have an electronic viewfinder, and also very high resolution, crisp, clear, sharp pictures. If there wouldn't be the settings, the camera settings, in the electronic viewfinder, I would think it's an optical viewfinder, because the picture is so sharp and so clear. You don't see any dots in the picture. I'm very amazed about it. The picture is real big. You have a real large picture in the viewfinder. The comparable viewfinders are the one of the OMD EM5 and the Fujifilm X-T1, but I think the NX1 viewfinder is still a little bit better and gives you a little bit more crisp and clearer picture than the one of the OMD EM5 and Fujifilm X-T1. So I like the viewfinder very much, and as you can see, we have the option between changing manual here with the EVF button. You can change between the viewfinder and the control monitor by touching or pressing the EVF button, or you can use the automatic. You have the sensor here, the eye sensor here, so the camera changes between the monitor and the electronic viewfinder automatically. So both of it, viewfinder and monitor, are very good and have a very clear, sharp picture. I like this one very much. Coming to the main functions of the camera, looking on the right side of the top of the camera, first of all, we have here a small display where you can see the most important settings of the camera. We have a button here to light up the display, and here you see we have the ISO setting, we have shutter speed, aperture, remaining pictures, the different autofocus settings, the battery level, and so on. So the most important settings you will see here in this small window on top of the camera. Here we have the shutter release and the on-off switch. Here you turn the camera on and off, and we have the first dial here of the camera. We have the button to start the video function and the button to make the aperture correction. The program dial is here, and yes, for sure, we have the 4 standards: P for program, A aperture, S shutter speed, and manual setting. Then we have the 2 settings, custom 1 and custom 2. Then we have the scene programs. When we have a look here on the back side of the camera, you will see we can change the different scene programs: silhouette, sunset, night, fireworks, and so on, landscape. And we have also a panorama function where you only move the camera from the left to the right or from the right to the left, and the camera makes the pictures continuously and work these pictures to one panorama picture. So it's very easy. It's like using the Sony cameras or the Panasonic cameras. Both of them also have this panorama function. The very easy moving panorama function where you only move the camera and get a real nice panorama. You see, we have lots of scene programs here. I think these are enough scene programs to make your camera individually. Next point is auto. At this point, the camera makes all the settings by herself: ISO, focus, autofocus setting. And if you see here, you can have a look here, you will see the camera checks what we see, and here you see on the left top corner the small flower, so the camera see that's a macro function and change to the macro function, so the camera recognizes the scene by herself. So that's the complete auto mode. On the left side of the camera we have a 4-way button here which has the function ISO setting on the left side. If we press the ISO button, you see we have the ISO scale here in the viewfinder or on the screen, and it starts with ISO 100, that's the lowest ISO setting, and it goes up. You can use either this dial or this dial up to 25,600. And if you go in the extended or in the high value and give it in the menu, put it in the menu to on the extended ISO setting, you will get 51,200 as the highest ISO setting. You also have the auto ISO setting, that's for sure. Okay, so If we press the down button, you will get the white balance. And here we have the different white balance settings. You also can use your finger to change the different settings. You see, it's very easy to change. If you want to set the white balance setting in Kelvin, just press the button, move up, and then you have the different settings here, which goes from 2500 up to 10,000 Kelvin. And so you can adjust it very individually, press OK, and that's it. If you want to use a preset, you can also use a preset here like artificial light. And you can individualize this by pressing the up button, and then you have the individual color setting and can move the point where you want it. You can use either the forward button or your finger to make an individual adjustment of each setting. So going back to the auto white balance, that's the first point here. Just press auto white balance and that's it. The right button is the metering, so you can change between the multi, the middle and the spot metering or center weighted metering. These are the different settings here. Just press the button. I will change now to the monitor. That's a little bit easier. And this is the spot metering. You see here, that's the square where the spot metering is. Okay, go back to this one. And the top button of the four-way button is autofocus. And here at the autofocus setting, you have the single autofocus, you have the continuous autofocus, and you have this one here, active autofocus. I'm not quite sure because I have the camera only one day. I'm not quite sure, but I think the active autofocus is the focus where the camera decides by herself using the single autofocus or the continuous autofocus. Depends on the scene and the camera decides by herself. I'm not quite sure, but I think this is the active autofocus. Last point is manual autofocus, manual focus, sorry. And this one you change here on the lens. When I go to MF, manual focus, you will see I have the last square here for manual focusing. Going back to autofocus, we are here at the autofocus settings. Underneath the four-way button, we have a dial where you can change the different settings. Single frame, serial low, serial high, self-timer, and bracketing function. These are the functions you can change here. The serial mode, the drive mode high or fast, I will show you later how fast the camera goes in this setting. Going to the back side of the camera, as I said before, here's the button to change between the monitor and the electronic viewfinder. Here we have the Wi-Fi button to start the Wi-Fi connection to computer or to a smartphone. And then we have the auto exposure lock here, AFN autofocus on here. Menu, I will give you a short overview of the menu a little bit later. Then we have the FN button. That's exactly the same like I showed you before. When you press the FN here on the screen, you have this quick menu, and you can maneuver in this quick menu either by using the four-way button or the dial here, and you can change it with the front dial. So it's very easy to make the different settings, or as I said before, just put your finger on it and then move the ISO setting to where you want it. So you have different ways to change the different settings of the camera. Next point is the dial and the four-way button in the middle. The top position is for display. This one is fixed, so if you press the top position, you get the different displays. This one is only with the important information. It's about the shutter speed and aperture and ISO setting. Next one is the full information field with the histogram, and here we have the 3D level meter, and that's it. So you have the different options to set up your display. These three buttons, the left, the right, and the down button, are customizable. If you use it in the standard version, the left one is for the autofocus area. So you can decide between the single autofocus or selection autofocus, multi-autofocus, face detection autofocus, and self-portrait autofocus. I will show you a little bit later how they work and give you an overview how the different autofocus settings works. The down button is the picture wizard. Here you can change between the different settings, standard, vivid, portrait, and so on. You have the different settings, and you have three customized settings. And if you press the up button here, you will see we have the different options to customize the setting. We have the color for red, green, and blue. Then the next one is the saturation, sharpness, contrast, and hue. So you can individualize your setting very, very good. There are a lot of options to individualize the color setting of the camera. Next point is the right side of the button. If you press the right side of the button, you come in the standby video mode. Why do we have the standby video mode? The reason is very simple. Because on the top dial of the camera, we don't have a video function. On some cameras, you have on the top dial, on the program dial, one function for video. So the camera changes from the photo function to the video function. The NX1 doesn't have a special video function here on the dial, and the problem is usually you have the ratio 3:2, and if you start a video you get 16:9, and the problem is, you can switch it off, the problem is if you have 3:2 and start a video, I do this now, and you will see you get the 16:9 field. And if you want to make the setting before you start the video, you have to see exactly which area you take with your video, and that's the reason why you can activate the video function just by pressing the right button. And now you have the 16:9 field and can set up your camera exactly on the point, because you will see what you get when you start the video function. As I said before, this is customizable. I show you later in the menu. Then the replay and the trash button. One point here, we have on the top of the screen, you have the most important settings here. The brightness, you can automize the brightness of the display, storage, how many pictures you have left, battery level, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi network you can switch on and off. So coming to the menu, I will give you a quick overview of the menu and what you can change and set up here. Starting with the photo size. Photo size starts by 3:2 in different resolutions, going to 16:9 different resolutions, and 1:1. Highest resolution 28 megapixel 3:2. Then you have different choices in the quality, superfine, fine, and normal in JPEG quality, RAW and RAW plus superfine, and RAW plus fine, and RAW plus normal. One thing you don't have is a small RAW format. Why a small RAW format? Because you have 28 megapixel, and if you shoot in RAW, you get real large files. And sometimes if you like work on a party or in a family meeting, you want to shoot in RAW, but you get 500 pictures in RAW, and most of them, they are only printed in small sizes or are for the internet, so you don't need the large RAW files. But you want the RAW file because you want to go in Lightroom and you want to make the setting of the picture very exactly, very precise, and therefore you need the RAW file and not the JPEG file. And so it would be a good idea to get a small RAW file, so a file like half the size, so you have a small file, but still you have the option to make individual settings in the RAW file. But no, we don't have this here. ISO setting I showed you before, OLED color, I actually don't know what it means. I turned it on and off, but I didn't see a difference. I have to check out this later when I have the camera a little bit longer. White balance I showed you before, what you can make for settings here. Picture wizard, I think the name is a little bit confusing, but this is the picture wizard. I showed you also before the different settings of the, I would say, color. Then we have the smart filter, and the smart filter, I think these are the fun filters: vignetting, miniature, watercolor, and the different colors here, vignetting. So you have here the different fun filters. Next one is the AF mode, showed you before: single autofocus, continuous or active autofocus, or manual, which you can change on the lens. Then we have the AF area. I will give you an overview how this will work after the menu. Then touch AF, showed you before, or I don't know if I show you before. You can use this one here just by pressing the screen and move the autofocus point on the point you want, and the camera makes a picture. So that's the one I use. Here you can change the setting to the different settings you want. You see, you can turn it off and so on. You have different settings here for the touch autofocus. So that's the point, touch autofocus. Manual focus assistance, I show you with the autofocus settings. You can enlarge the area where you might be focusing in the manual focus. Focus peaking, you have different settings: level, normal, and low. And you have different colors, and you have different colors: red, green, and white. Then we go to the option link auto exposure and autofocus point. You can link them together or split them off, so you have only autofocus, and auto exposure is a different setting. Brightness adjustment guide, I actually don't know what this means. I have to check out it. Overexposure guide, here you can see the overexposure area that's important for video. Framing mode, OES, anti-shake option. You have different settings, mode 1 and mode 2. So these are the different settings also for video. Drive settings, here you have the option continuous high. You can go up to 15 frames per second or 8 frames per second, and I will give you now I will show you now how fast 15 frames per second are before I go back to the menu. So I turn on here the high speed, and now here we go. Oh, just I want to be sure that I use the shortest shutter speed, 1/8,000 of a second. You can see here 1/8,000, so the shortest shutter speed, and now here we go, 15 frames per second. These are 15 frames per second. Nice speed, really, really nice speed. I have a fast SD card here, so the camera saves it very fast. And I think if you use the slower speed, you can continue shooting till the SD card is full. So the drive settings, 15 frames per second. Then we have the timer, and I think this is a really nice feature because you can set up the self timer from 2 seconds up to 30 seconds, and you can say how many pictures the camera should make. 1 picture, or you can go up to, to put this one here, 2 pictures, 5 pictures, 10 pictures. You will see the value here on the right top corner. And you can also say the interval, so you can say, I want to have a self-timer time of 10 seconds. After the 10 seconds, I want 5 pictures, and an interval of 1 second, so the camera makes exactly what I want. Important, I have to choose here the self-timer option on the top dial. Unless I don't use this, the setting here is only the setting but not the function, so that's the difference. Here you make the settings, you select the function here on the top dial of the camera. That's very important. That's exactly the same like Panasonic uses this. You make the setting in the menu and you change the different drive modes with a dial or in the menu. So that's very important to know. Here you make the settings and here you activate the different functions. Okay, so then we have the bracketing function. That's also a function you have to activate here, and in the bracketing function you have the different settings. You have the AE, the auto exposure setting, you have the white balance bracketing, the picture wizard, and the depth of field bracketing. So these are the different bracketings here you can choose. The standard bracketing is the auto exposure bracketing, where you can set up 3 pictures with different values. Maximum is 3 EF and the lowest one is 0.3 EF. So these are the different bracketing functions you have. Next one is the interval capture. Here you can say the interval time, the count, start time, and the time lapse. Metering, showed you before. Dynamic range, you can set up the dynamic range, flash mode, and that's it. Here we begin from the, here we are at the beginning. So I wanted to show you the different autofocus settings. So let's go to the left side. First of all, we have the multi-AF mode. If you are in the multi-AF mode, you press the OK button and you see this is the area for the multi-AF. You can change the size of the multi-AF just by turning the front dial, and you have the smaller size. You only have 2 options, small or large, and you can move this field. So you have the option between 9 different fields where you can make up the autofocus area. If you take pictures like in the mountains and you want the background always sharp, here's the foreground, here's the background, the mountains, you can move up the autofocus area in this field up, so you can be sure that the autofocus works in the background and that the autofocus shows you the mountains clear, crisp and sharp, and the foreground may be blurry. If you want to change this, just move the autofocus field to the bottom, and then you're sure that the front of your camera, the first part of your camera, is sharp. So that's a real nice feature, I think. Big size, small size. Next setting is the selection or the single autofocus field. Here we go. Press the OK button. I will remove so it's a little bit easier. Press the OK button, then you have the autofocus field. You can move the autofocus field just with your finger. That's the easiest way. You can use the 4-way button, or you can use the dial on the back side to move it up and down, and the second dial here at the thumb pressed to move it left and right. And the front dial has also a function. Here you can change the size, biggest size, smallest size. So you have a lot of option to customize your autofocus field, and you put the autofocus field exactly on the right position where you want to. So these are the different autofocus settings here in the camera. Coming to the manual autofocus, I wanted to show you this also. So if you have here something you want to manual focus and I turn the dial here, you see I go to the 8-time magnification and I can make a real perfect manual focusing with the magnification. So that's very easy and very good to work with it. Okay, so coming to the next point of the menu, a very, very important point, that's the video function and the video size. Because we have the low resolutions here, 640 by 480, 1280 by 720, that's the small HD resolution, then coming up to the full HD resolution. And yes, here we are, 4K, 2840 by 2160, and the Ultra HD resolution 4096 by 2160, 24 frames per second. That's the Ultra 4K resolution or Ultra High resolution. We have different movie qualities, normal, high Q and Pro resolution. Then we have here fast and slow movie. These are not the fast, but this is making the movie a little bit faster. So it's like a time lapse. The slow motion are here, but the slow motion you can only use if you go to a low resolution, the small HD resolution. Then you have the option here to make slow motion 0.5, 0.25. So these are the two different slow motion settings, but only in the small HD resolution, not in full HD or 4K. Then you have fader, voice, wind cut, microphone level, smart range, and that's it. Coming to the next setting, here we have the different custom mode settings, C1 and C2. ISO customizing, here you have the different auto ISO range customization options. Then going color space, touch operation, eye function customizing. Eye function customizing, that's the one here. On the lens we have the eye function button. If I press the eye function button, you will see we have here different options. No, we don't have different options. I don't know why. Just give me a second. Okay, now we have them. Sorry for that. Here we have them. And you can see either if I press the button several times or if I turn the dial here or turn the front dial, I can change between the different settings. And so I have different options. So you can customize your eye function. You can customize your eye function button and give it different options. We will see here. So these are the different options you can choose from, and you can make the different settings here and decide which function you want on the eye function button here. I like this because when I use the camera, I can press the eye function button, make the changes of the different settings very fast. So I think the eye function is a real nice option to customize your camera. User display, here you make the different settings, icon, state, time, button, and so on. Then you have the key mapping. Here we have the preview button, AEL button, the one here on top, AF on button, this one, custom key left, AF area now, custom key right, movie standby, I showed you before, and custom key down, picture wizard, and custom wheel and command dial. So you can make up the different settings of the dials and buttons like you want it. And then we have AF release priority. Here you can make the setting focus or release. So that's important if you work in autofocus single. I think it's the better way to use focus, because if you work in single, you want to get a clear, sharp and crisp picture, and so you have the autofocus priority on focus. If you work in autofocus continuous, you want to shoot fast, you want to get the picture even if it's not 100% crystal clear and sharp, and there you have the priority for release. So these are the 2 points. You cannot make the setting individual for AF single and AF continuous. Some professional cameras, like the one from Nikon, they can make the settings individually for autofocus single and autofocus continuous. not at the NX1. Then you have the mobile link, grid lines, autofocus lamp, electronic shutter, and that's it. And now in the last menu we have the settings for like sound, display, power save, language, date, time, video out, HDMI output. So these are the normal settings you have in the setup menu of a camera. I think the menu is easy to understand and the menu is easy to handle. You have the different dials to maneuver in the menu, and you have the touch screen, so it can work very good in the menu. I like them very much. They are clear and they are understandable, and so I think the menus are real good. Coming to one very, very important point, and that's the movie function. Yes, we have 4K, that's a real nice feature, but we have a small problem. The NX1 uses a new video codec, and the new video codec is H265, sorry, I mismatched it, 65, and the old one is 264. The problem with the new one is, or the good thing of the new one is, the files are much smaller than the one with the 64. So you get small file sizes even if you use 4K. The file size in 4K is very big, and with a new codec it's much smaller. But the problem is the usual programs for video post processing like Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere, they don't accept the new codecs. So you are not able to work with the camera and work with the Final Cut Pro because you can't import the files of the NX1 because the programs don't understand the new codec. So that's for today. I think Samsung should have done more talking between Apple for Final Cut and Adobe for Premiere, because they want to position the camera in a professional area. They want to position the camera also for professional filmers for 4K. But the problem is you can't use these files just by importing them into the program. It's very difficult to find programs where you can change from the 265 to 264. I didn't find, actually, I searched last night for a program and I looked on different sites where the NX1 is discussed, and they have all the same problem. If you want high quality to change in a ProRes format or something like this, you won't find a program. Samsung itself had a program, but this one I haven't found it. I think they have removed it because the quality should be or was very poor. So that's what I read on the different internet sites and different discussions. So the real problem by now is you cannot use the video files just by moving them into the program and make the post-processing with these files. You have to, I don't know, maybe I find some programs to convert them into the right format, but by now I didn't find any program which works real good and real perfect. Maybe from Blackmagic Resolve can do this. I didn't try this last night. I have to try, but the problem really is it's a new video format, and the major programs can't use this new video format without converting it. So we will see how this works in the future and how Samsung and the companies like Apple and Adobe will work with the new file format, because there should coming more cameras with the new file format. So they have to do something. But by now, actually, it's a real problem to work with the file format, because it's not only 4K, but it's also the full HD mode where you have the new video codec, so you also can't use the full HD videos from this camera and work easy and import them easy into your program. This won't work by now. I hope this will change very soon, and I have the camera like for 2 or 3 weeks, and so there may come up more programs, more converters or something like that. I will keep you up in this on this topic. I will make one more movie of the NX1, and maybe at this time I know a little bit more about the problem with the new codec and can give you solutions how to work with the camera. But as I said, by now it's a little bit difficult, and I didn't find a solution last night, and even in the forums and in the discussion threads I didn't find a solution to work easy with the video files from the NX1. Talking about the picture quality, that's a little bit easier. There you can compare the picture quality, and I must say the picture quality of the NX1 is really, really good. You have absolutely crisp and clear pictures. The resolution is fine. The color is fine. The dynamic range, I think, is real good. I have to make some more pictures. I have to make some more test pictures, but I've did my test chart and did some outdoor pictures in the morning. And in my opinion, the picture quality is real good, especially in the low ISO settings up to like 800, 1600 ISO. If the ISO settings goes a little bit higher, I have to compare it with other cameras, but also in this area on the first look, it's a real good picture quality. And as I said before, the lens is a real good lens. I like this one very much. So yes, for photography, I can say the picture quality of the NX1 is really good. It's a fast camera, the autofocus is fast. I have to work a little bit more to check how fast the autofocus is in various situations, like in continuous autofocus situations where I want to take pictures of my running dog and stuff like this. I have to check out a little bit more. But by now I can say yes, the autofocus speed is very good. The pictures are clear, sharp, and it works really good. So all over, except for the video functions where I can not say how good the picture quality is, but all over the camera is a real nice one. There are some points which I miss: a second SD card slot to put the JPEG on one and the RAW on the other card, or if you want the video on the one and the pictures on the other card. So that's one point which I miss. But on the other hand, we have everything we need. On the side, I didn't show you, but I can show you now. On the side of the camera, we have the USB connector. It's a USB 3.0, and we have the HDMI output. And here we have the microphone and headphone connector. So also this is very professional, and we have this one also in the camera. So all over, it's a real nice product. How the picture quality or the video quality is, I hope I can check out this, because it's very interesting. Usually when you go for 4K, you have cameras like the Alpha 7S, the Panasonic GH4 or LX100, and they have 12 or 16 megapixel sensors. And if you go for 4K, the camera takes pixel by pixel and uses this for the 4K movie. So no interpolation, nothing. 1 pixel on the sensor is 1 pixel in the final movie, and so they take it one by one. But here at the NX1 we have a 28 megapixel sensor, and the camera uses the full frame size for the 4K video, so there must be some interpolation to get the 28 megapixel in an 8 megapixel movie, which is 4K or nearly 4K. And so there has to be some interpolation, and I'm very interested to see how the interpolation works and how good the 4K quality finally is here at the NX1. Okay. So I hope you get a good overview of the NX1, and I hope you enjoyed my video. If so, please subscribe, give me a like, and as I said before, there will come minimum one more video of the NX1, I think after 2 or 3 weeks when I used the camera, so I give you then my personal view of the camera and give you some more tips and tricks to the camera, and hope I can give you finally an answer of the picture quality in video. So thank you for watching my videos. Thanks you have been here on my YouTube channel. Please give me a like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do. Thank you for watching me, and as always I say bye and moin moin.